A city that doesn't know tomorrow will never come. Tonight, you are not here to witness disaster. You are not here to watch Mount Vesuvius erupt. That story has already been told countless times. Instead, you have arrived one ordinary day earlier. One peaceful morning before history changed forever. Tonight, you will discover something far rarer than catastrophe. You will discover everyday life. As always, before we begin, take a quiet moment to settle into your favorite resting place. Dim the lights if you can. Allow your shoulders to relax. Take one slow breath in and let it drift gently away. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing waiting for your attention. Only this quiet journey into the past. Now, close your eyes if they feel heavy, and let us walk together into the Roman world. The year is 79 AD. The Roman Empire stretches farther than almost anyone can imagine. Its roads connect distant provinces across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Its merchants trade silk from Asia, spices from Arabia, and amber from the cold northern forests. Its legions guard borders thousands of kilometers away. Yet tonight, our destination is not Rome. Our journey leads south, toward the warm shores of the Bay of Naples, where sunlight dances across deep blue water. Fishing boats drift peacefully with the tide. Olive groves cover gentle hillsides, and vineyards climb the rich volcanic soil beneath a mountain that seems completely harmless. Its name is Mount Vesuvius. To you, living centuries later, that name carries a quiet warning. But to the people living here, it means home. The mountain has slept for generations. Children race through its vineyards. Farmers thank it for fertile fields. Travelers admire its green slopes without the slightest fear. No one suspects that beneath those peaceful forests, the earth is slowly gathering unimaginable power. Yet none of that matters today. Because today is simply another beautiful morning. The first light of dawn begins to touch the rooftops of Pompeii. The city is already waking. A baker pushes open heavy wooden shutters. Warm air scented with fresh bread escapes into the narrow street. Across the road, another family lights their kitchen hearth. A servant carries water from the public fountain. A sleepy dog stretches beside the entrance of a courtyard. Everything feels wonderfully ordinary. Stone streets still glisten from the cool night air. Small streams of water run gently along carved channels beside the road. Stepping stones allow people to cross without wetting their sandals. The city has been carefully planned. Public fountains stand at nearly every corner. Fresh water arrives through Roman aqueducts from distant mountains. Even before sunrise, someone is already filling clay jars for the day's cooking. You begin walking through the quiet streets. The paving stones beneath your feet have been polished smooth by countless generations. Deep grooves carved into the stone reveal where wagon wheels have passed day after day for decades. Each mark tells the story of ordinary lives. Merchants, farmers, builders, families, children. None of them know they are leaving behind footprints that archaeologists will one day study almost 2,000 years later. Above you, colorful frescoes decorate the walls of elegant homes. Many still glow with brilliant shades of red, blue, and golden yellow. Roman cities were never the endless sea of white marble often imagined today. They were full of color, full of painted gardens, bright courtyards, elegant mosaics, and flowering balconies overlooking lively streets. As the sky brightens, more doors begin to open. A cloth merchant carefully rolls up the shutters, protecting his storefront. Across the square, a bronze worker arranges polished lamps upon a wooden table. Nearby, a fruit seller places baskets overflowing with figs, grapes, apples, and ripe pomegranates beneath a woven canopy to protect them from the coming afternoon sun. Every movement is calm, unhurried, practiced. These people have repeated the same quiet morning rituals hundreds of times before, and they fully expect to repeat them again tomorrow. That simple certainty is perhaps the most heartbreaking part of Pompeii's story. Not because tragedy is approaching, but because no one can see it. The city lives completely in the present, exactly as all of us do. You continue toward the Forum, the heart of Pompeii. The streets gradually become livelier. Soft conversations drift through open doorways. The scent of olive oil mingles with fresh herbs. A donkey pulls a small wooden cart loaded with clay amphorae filled with local wine. Its slow footsteps echo gently between the stone buildings. Somewhere nearby, a blacksmith begins his morning work. The rhythmic ringing of hammer against iron spreads softly through the cool air. It is not loud, not hurried, simply another familiar sound that belongs to this peaceful city. High above, swallows circle gracefully between rooftops. They have nested beneath Roman roof tiles every spring for generations. They know nothing of emperors, nothing of politics, nothing of history. They simply greet another beautiful sunrise. Ahead, the great Forum slowly comes into view. Wide, elegant, surrounded by magnificent columns glowing softly beneath the golden morning light. Soon, the marketplace will awaken. Merchants from across the empire will gather here. Voices will fill the square. Children will weave between busy crowds. Travelers will arrive carrying stories from distant provinces. But for just one quiet moment longer. The Forum belongs only to the morning. The marble still holds the night's coolness. The pigeons wander peacefully across the open square. A gentle sea breeze arrives from the Bay of Naples. It carries the scent of salt water, olive trees, fresh bread, and warm stone beginning to greet the sun. This is Pompeii, not the city frozen in ash, not the ruins visited by millions, but a living place, a laughing place, a peaceful place, a city full of ordinary people enjoying an ordinary morning, completely unawares that history is only one sunrise away. The first sunlight slowly spreads across the rooftops of Pompeii. Golden light slips between marble columns, over painted walls, and across the smooth volcanic stones beneath your feet. The city is fully awake now. Not hurried, not crowded, simply alive. The quiet stillness of dawn has gently given way to the comforting rhythm of another ordinary morning. You leave the Forum behind and wander into one of Pompeii's residential streets. Immediately, a wonderful aroma fills the air. Fresh bread, warm wheat, wood smoke, olive oil. The smell drifts from a nearby bakery where the day's first loaves have just emerged from a great stone oven. The baker wipes flour from his hands before greeting an elderly woman waiting patiently outside. She carries a woven basket lined with clean linen. Without needing to speak many words, the baker places 2 warm round loaves inside. Steam escapes as the cloth is folded gently over the top. She smiles. He bows his head ever so slightly. The exchange lasts only a few seconds, yet it is repeated every morning. Across the Roman world, thousands of mornings begin exactly like this. Inside the bakery, the great millstones continue turning. Rather than machines, they are powered by donkeys walking slow circles around heavy volcanic stone grinders. The animals move calmly, never rushed. Each steady step crushes grain into soft flour. The rhythm is almost hypnotic. Stone against stone. Footsteps, wood creaking gently. Somewhere nearby, another loaf is placed inside the oven. The baker's apprentice carefully brushes ash away from the entrance, using a bundle of olive branches tied together with rope. His face glows softly in the warmth of the fire. He has likely performed this same task hundreds of times. Soon, he will become the master baker himself. Outside, the streets continue filling with life. A fruit merchant arranges baskets overflowing with grapes gathered from nearby vineyards. Clusters of deep purple and pale green catch the morning light. Beside them rest ripe figs split naturally by the warmth of the late summer sun. Fresh dates imported from distant provinces lie carefully arranged upon woven mats. Trade has brought flavors from every corner of the Roman Empire to this remarkable city. A little farther along, an olive merchant fills shallow ceramic bowls with glossy black and green olives. Customers pause to sample them before making their choice. Nearby stand tall clay amphorae sealed with wax. Inside rests freshly pressed olive oil. Its rich golden color glows whenever sunlight reaches the surface. Olive oil is more than food here. It lights homes. It perfumes skin. It preserves vegetables. It flavors nearly every meal. Life in Pompeii flows around it as naturally as water. You continue walking slowly. The paving stones beneath your sandals remain pleasantly cool despite the growing warmth of the day. Tiny grooves carved by generations of wagon wheels guide rainwater toward the drainage channels running beside the streets. Roman engineers rarely left such things to chance. Even the roads have been designed with quiet intelligence. A public fountain appears at the next corner. Crystal clear water pours continuously from the mouth of a carved stone lion. Children gather nearby carrying small clay jugs. Some patiently wait their turn. Others splash cool water onto their faces before laughing together. An elderly man fills 2 large amphorae balanced across a wooden yoke resting upon his shoulders. He pauses for a moment beneath the shade of a fig tree before continuing home at an unhurried pace. Fresh water has always been one of Pompeii's greatest luxuries. High above the city, Roman aqueducts quietly carry mountain springs across many kilometers before delivering them to fountains like this one. Most citizens hardly think about the remarkable engineering that makes such comfort possible. Like so many wonderful things, it has become part of everyday life. Nearby, a small tavern prepares for the morning crowd. Its owner carefully places bowls of cheese, herbs, fresh bread, and honey upon a polished stone counter. Wine rests inside broad clay jars built directly into the serving table. Travelers stopping on their way through the city will soon gather here for a simple breakfast before continuing toward the busy roads leading to Naples or Herculaneum. The owner sweeps the entrance one final time. Satisfied, he hangs a small painted sign beside the doorway. The tavern is ready. Across the street, a stray dog wanders hopefully between the market stalls. A kind vegetable seller tosses it a small crust of yesterday's bread. The dog catches it eagerly before disappearing into the shade beneath a nearby cart. Simple kindness passes quietly through the city without anyone giving it much thought. A gentle breeze arrives from the Bay of Naples. It cools the streets for a few precious moments. You can almost taste the sea carried upon the wind. Salt, fresh water, fishing boats, sun-warmed wood. The harbor lies just beyond the city walls, connecting Pompeii to every corner of the Mediterranean. Merchants arrive daily with spices from Egypt, glass from Syria, wine from Greece, silk carried slowly across Asia before finally reaching Roman ports. Pompeii is far more connected to the ancient world than many modern people imagine. Its streets are not isolated. They are alive with stories traveling across continents. You pause once more before another bakery. Rows of freshly baked loaves cool upon wooden shelves near the open doorway. Many bear simple marks pressed into the dough before baking. Small symbols identifying the family that purchased them. Even bread carries someone's story. The warm fragrance fills the street. It mixes with herbs hanging from nearby windows, with lavender drying beneath shaded balconies, with rosemary growing inside courtyard gardens, with basil freshly picked only moments ago. For a brief moment, the entire city smells like home. You continue your slow walk beneath painted balconies and colorful awnings. The streets grow busier with every passing minute. Yet nothing feels overwhelming. The city moves with confidence. People know where they are going. Merchants greet familiar customers. Neighbors exchange quiet smiles. Children weave effortlessly between adults carrying baskets filled with fruit and fresh bread. Everything belongs. Everything fits. And above the rooftops, Mount Vesuvius watches peacefully beneath a cloudless blue sky. Its green slopes appear as calm as they always have. Birds circle above its forests. Farmers continue tending vineyards planted upon its rich volcanic soil. No smoke rises from its summit. No warning disturbs the quiet morning. To everyone living here, it is simply another beautiful day. Exactly as yesterday had been. Exactly as they believe tomorrow will be. The busy streets slowly fade behind you. The cheerful voices of merchants become softer with every step until they blend into little more than a distant murmur carried by the warm Mediterranean breeze. A narrow stone lane leads away from the marketplace. High plaster walls line both sides of the street. From above them, olive branches and flowering vines reach toward the sunlight. You notice something remarkable. Although the city is lively, peace is never far away. Beyond one modest wooden gate lies the private garden of a Roman villa. The entrance stands open, not as an invitation, but as a quiet glimpse into another part of daily life. Inside, the sounds of the city almost disappear. The courtyard is filled with light. Marble columns surround a small garden where roses, lilies, and lavender bloom beneath the late summer sun. At the center, a shallow pool reflects the blue sky above. The water is perfectly still. Only a single falling leaf creates gentle circles that slowly spread toward the polished stone edges. A gardener moves carefully among the flower beds. He trims a climbing vine with a small bronze knife before pausing to brush loose soil from a young olive tree. Nothing about his work feels hurried. Every movement carries the confidence of long experience. Nearby, herbs grow inside neat clay pots. Fresh basil, mint, rosemary, thyme. Their fragrance rises gently each time the breeze passes through the courtyard. A pair of doves lands beside the fountain. They drink quietly before fluttering upward toward the tiled roof. Their wings disturb the silence for only a brief moment. Then calm returns once again. Along one wall stretches a painted fresco. It shows distant mountains, quiet rivers, and peaceful gardens, much like the one surrounding you now. Roman artists often painted imaginary landscapes, allowing rooms to feel larger than they truly were. Even inside the home, nature remained close. A woman sits beneath the shaded portico, weaving fresh flowers into a small garland. Her fingers move almost without thought. White blossoms, purple lavender, tiny green leaves. One by one, they become a simple circle of color and fragrance. Beside her, a young child watches a tortoise slowly crossing the warm stone courtyard. The child resists the urge to hurry it along. Instead, he matches its patient pace. Perhaps without realizing it, he has already learned one of the quiet lessons of this place. Some things move exactly as quickly as they should. Near the rear of the garden stands a pergola covered with heavy grapevines. Clusters of ripe fruit hang just above eye level. Sunlight filters through the leaves, painting soft patterns across the mosaic floor below. Tiny glass tiles shimmer whenever the light shifts. The mosaic depicts fish swimming among gentle waves. It reminds visitors that the sea is never far away. Beyond the villa walls, Pompeii continues its ordinary day. Wagons roll across stone streets. Merchants welcome customers. Fresh bread cools upon wooden shelves. Yet here, time seems to pause. The air is filled only with birdsong, flowing water, and the faint rustle of leaves. You walk slowly around the reflecting pool. Looking down, you see drifting clouds mirrored upon its surface. For a brief moment, sky and water become impossible to separate. A servant quietly replaces fresh flowers inside a small bronze vase resting beneath a marble statue. The old arrangement has not faded completely. Still, today's blossoms carry a brighter fragrance. Beauty here is renewed in small, thoughtful ways. Nothing grand, nothing extravagant, simply cared for. The afternoon grows warmer. Sunlight reaches deeper into the courtyard. Shadows shorten beneath the columns. Somewhere beyond the villa, the distant laughter of children echoes softly through the neighborhood before fading once more. You pause beneath the grapevine canopy and close your eyes. The scent of lavender, warm stone, fresh water, olive trees, and ripening fruit blend together into a fragrance that belongs only to this peaceful Roman afternoon. It is difficult to imagine that places so full of life could ever disappear. Yet that is exactly why this quiet moment feels so precious. Not because history remembers what happened here, but because, for these ordinary people, today is simply another beautiful day beneath the warm Italian sun. And as you quietly leave the villa gardens behind, another peaceful corner of Pompeii waits just beyond the next sunlit street. As the morning slowly unfolds across Pompeii, the streets grow warmer beneath the Mediterranean sun. The smell of fresh bread begins to fade, replaced by another familiar fragrance. Olive oil, warm stone, and clean steam rising gently into the air. Following the broad stone avenue, you arrive before one of Pompeii's magnificent public bathhouses. Its entrance is surprisingly modest. From the outside, it appears little different from many other Roman buildings. But once you step through its heavy wooden doors, another world quietly reveals itself. The sounds of the busy streets disappear almost immediately. Inside, everything feels calm. The marble floors beneath your sandals remain pleasantly cool. Sunlight filters through small windows positioned high within the vaulted ceilings, filling the rooms with soft golden light that dances gently across polished stone. The Romans believed that bathing was far more than washing the body. It was part of everyday life, a place to meet neighbors, to relax after work, to exchange stories, or simply to enjoy a peaceful hour away from the noise of the city. A young attendant welcomes arriving visitors with a respectful nod before returning to his work. Along one wall, carefully carved wooden shelves hold folded linen towels. Bronze oil flasks rest neatly beside small curved tools known as strigils, used to gently remove oil and dust from the skin after exercise. Nothing appears rushed. Everything has its place. You wander into the changing room. Colorful frescoes decorate the walls. Scenes of gardens, birds, and distant landscapes create the comforting illusion that nature has quietly entered the building. Stone benches line the room. Several visitors carefully fold their tunics before placing them inside wooden niches. A small dog sleeps peacefully beneath one of the benches, undisturbed by the gentle movement around him. Beyond the changing room lies the warm chamber. The air here is noticeably softer. Heat rises quietly through the floors and walls, carried by an ingenious system hidden beneath the building. Below your feet, small brick pillars support the raised floor. Hot air from wood-fired furnaces circulates beneath it before escaping through hollow spaces built inside the walls. Without smoke, without visible flames, only gentle warmth. Nearly 2,000 years later, the engineering still feels remarkably modern. You pause for a moment. The warmth settles comfortably around you. Some visitors sit quietly upon marble benches. Others speak in soft voices. The echoes remain gentle beneath the curved ceiling. No one disturbs the peaceful atmosphere. Nearby, a physician discusses herbs with an elderly man recovering from aching joints. Across the room, two merchants quietly compare the quality of olive oil brought from different regions of Italy. Even business conversations seem calmer here. Bathing encourages patience. A doorway leads into the hot room. Steam rises slowly from the heated pools. Light pours through the high windows, transforming the mist into glowing ribbons that drift lazily through the air. The surface of the water remains almost perfectly still. Occasionally, someone enters, sending gentle ripples across the pool before silence returns. You kneel beside the water. Tiny droplets gather upon the smooth marble edge. The stone has been polished by thousands of hands over countless years. History often survives not only in monuments, but in the quiet places touched by ordinary people every single day. Beyond the hot chamber waits the cold pool. Its crystal-clear water reflects the vaulted ceiling above with astonishing clarity. A young athlete hesitates for only a second before stepping into the refreshing water. His laughter echoes briefly through the hall. Soon even that sound fades into the gentle rhythm of flowing fountains. Fresh water enters continuously through bronze spouts shaped like lion heads. It leaves just as quietly through carefully hidden drains beneath the floor. Everything moves. Everything flows. Nothing stands still for very long. An elderly attendant carefully sweeps a few fallen olive leaves from the entrance. Although visitors come and go throughout the day, the bathhouse never feels crowded. Its design encourages calm. Wide halls, soft light, open spaces, warm stone. The Romans understood something timeless. Architecture could shape the way people felt. As you continue through the final courtyard, sunlight fills a peaceful garden surrounded by elegant columns. Small fountains sparkle among flowering shrubs. A pair of white doves lands beside the water. Their reflections shimmer for only a moment before disappearing beneath tiny ripples. The city beyond these walls continues its ordinary day. Merchants continue selling fruit. Children continue chasing one another through narrow streets. The harbor remains busy with arriving ships. And above it all, Mount Vesuvius stands quietly beneath a cloudless sky. Its green slopes appear as peaceful as ever. No one inside the bathhouse glances toward the mountain. There is no reason to. It has watched peacefully over Pompeii for generations. And on this warm summer afternoon, it seems content simply to remain part of the landscape. You leave the baths feeling lighter than before. Not only because of the warm water, but because places like these remind you that history was once filled with ordinary afternoons, quiet conversations, and simple moments of rest. The stone streets await once more. And somewhere beyond the next corner, another peaceful story is already unfolding. Leaving the quiet bathhouse behind, you wander once more through the sunlit streets of Pompeii. The warmth of the afternoon settles gently across the city. The shadows have grown shorter now. Stone walls reflect the Mediterranean light with a soft golden glow. Somewhere nearby, the distant sound of a hammer echoes from a workshop. Elsewhere, a merchant laughs quietly with a familiar customer. Nothing feels hurried. Pompeii seems to move with a quiet confidence, as though every citizen already knows exactly how this peaceful day will unfold. You follow a narrow lane lined with elegant homes. Many appear modest from the outside. Simple plaster walls, wooden doors, small windows facing the street. Yet behind each doorway often lies another world entirely. One entrance has been left partially open. Curiosity gently invites you inside. The house belongs to a painter, not one creating grand portraits of emperors or victorious generals. Instead, he paints beauty into ordinary life. The entrance corridor opens into a spacious atrium. Rainwater collected from the roof falls into a shallow marble basin at its center. Sunlight reflects across the water, casting gentle ripples of light onto the surrounding walls. The entire room seems alive without anyone speaking. The painter stands quietly before a freshly prepared wall. A wooden scaffold supports several clay bowls filled with bright pigments. Deep crimson made from iron-rich earth. Brilliant yellow ochre. Soft green ground from natural minerals. A rare and precious blue imported from distant lands. Each color has been mixed carefully with lime plaster while the wall is still damp. He must work slowly, yet steadily. Once the plaster dries, the colors will become part of the wall itself. They may remain there for centuries. The painter dips a fine brush into rich red pigment. His hand never trembles. One graceful line becomes the branch of a flowering tree. Another becomes the wing of a tiny bird. Gradually, a peaceful garden begins appearing where only blank plaster existed moments before. It is not copied from nature. It is inspired by it. Roman homes often brought the outside world indoors through painted landscapes. Gardens without walls. Birds that never flew away. Mountains forever touched by sunrise. The illusion creates space. Calm, breathing room, even within the heart of a busy city. Nearby, his young apprentice carefully grinds fresh minerals inside a smooth stone bowl. The slow circular motion produces a fine-colored powder. Occasionally, he glances toward his teacher, quietly learning not only technique, but patience. Great art cannot be rushed. The courtyard beyond the atrium overflows with life. Small orange trees fill the air with a delicate citrus fragrance. A fountain whispers gently beside flowering roses. Tiny bronze statues watch silently from among neatly trimmed hedges. A family of sparrows bathes happily in the shallow pool before scattering into the branches above. The painter pauses, not because he is tired, but because he wishes to observe the way sunlight touches the leaves. The next brushstroke depends entirely upon that single moment. He smiles softly, then continues. A woman enters carrying a woven basket filled with fresh bread and figs purchased earlier that morning. She places them upon a polished wooden table without interrupting the painter's concentration. No words are necessary. Both understand the quiet rhythm of the afternoon. The smell of warm bread slowly fills the courtyard, mixed with olive oil, fresh herbs, and the sweet perfume of blooming jasmine climbing the garden walls. Every home in Pompeii carries its own small world, its own familiar sounds, its own comforting scents, its own peaceful routines. You continue deeper into the villa. The dining room walls shimmer with elaborate frescoes depicting peaceful harbors, graceful temples, and quiet country estates. Visitors dining here would have felt surrounded by distant landscapes while sharing simple evening meals. Roman artists understood something remarkable. Beauty could change the feeling of a room. Even a painted window could make a home feel larger, calmer, more open to the world. Sunlight slowly shifts across the mosaic floor beneath your feet. Thousands of tiny stone tiles form the image of dolphins swimming through bright blue waves. Every piece has been placed by hand, every color chosen carefully. Someone devoted months of quiet work to creating something many people would simply walk across without a second thought. History is often built from invisible dedication. Outside, the afternoon breeze stirs the grapevines climbing above the garden walkway. Their leaves cast moving shadows across the white plaster walls. For a brief moment, the painted trees seem to sway together with the real ones. Art and nature become almost impossible to separate. The painter finally steps back. He studies his work in complete silence, not searching for perfection, only balance. The branch curves naturally. The bird appears ready to take flight. The distant hills glow warmly beneath an imaginary sunset that will never fade. Satisfied, he gently cleans his brushes inside a clay bowl of clear water. The colors swirl together before slowly disappearing. Tomorrow, he will begin another wall, another garden, another peaceful illusion. Perhaps he never imagines that nearly 2,000 years later, people from every corner of the world will still admire these paintings. Not because they survived disaster, but because they captured something timeless, the quiet beauty of an ordinary afternoon. You step back into the sunlit street. The sounds of Pompeii return once more. A cart rolls gently across the paving stones. Swallows circle above tiled rooftops. Fresh laundry sways lazily between balconies. And high above the peaceful city, Mount Vesuvius remains perfectly still beneath the bright blue sky. Its silence feels almost comforting. As you continue your slow walk through the ancient streets, another quiet story patiently waits just around the next corner. The painted villa slowly disappears behind you. Its colorful walls remain hidden beyond a row of cypress trees as your footsteps carry you toward another familiar sound. Not voices, not wagons, but water. A gentle breeze arrives first, cooler than the air within the city streets. It carries the unmistakable scent of the sea. Salt, fresh timber, fishing nets drying beneath the sun. And somewhere nearby, the faint cry of gulls circling above the shoreline. Pompeii's harbor lies only a short walk beyond the city walls. Though smaller than many of the empire's great ports, it is filled with quiet purpose. Wooden piers stretch into the calm blue waters of the Bay of Naples. Fishing boats rest peacefully beside merchant vessels that have sailed from distant shores. Their masts sway gently against the bright afternoon sky. Ropes creak softly with each small movement of the tide. Nothing feels hurried. The sea itself seems content to breathe at its own patient rhythm. You stroll slowly along the weathered wooden dock. The planks beneath your feet have been polished smooth by countless sailors carrying amphorae, baskets of fish, bundles of cloth, and barrels of wine. Each step seems to echo with the ordinary routines of daily life. A fisherman kneels beside his boat. Spread across the dock before him is a large linen net. Rather than replacing it, he patiently repairs each broken strand with a thin bone needle. His hands move with remarkable precision. One knot, then another. A task that could easily feel repetitive somehow becomes peaceful. Every repaired thread means another morning upon the water. Nearby, 3 small children sit at the edge of the pier. Their bare feet dangle above the gently moving waves. One quietly drops tiny crumbs of bread into the sea. Silver fish gather almost immediately, flashing beneath the clear water before disappearing again into deeper blue. The children laugh softly. Their laughter drifts across the harbor before dissolving into the sound of the tide. Further along the quay, merchants unload ceramic amphorae from a broad trading vessel. Each vessel bears painted markings showing its place of origin. Some have crossed only a short distance from neighboring towns. Others have traveled astonishing journeys across the Mediterranean. Olive oil, wine, garum, dried figs, honey, spices. Every cargo tells the story of another coastline, another family, another ordinary day somewhere far beyond Pompeii. A pair of dock workers carefully lower a heavy crate onto the stone quay. Rather than rushing to the next task, they pause for a moment beneath the shade of a sail stretched between 2 wooden posts. One drinks from a clay cup. The other simply watches the sea. Even work seems to leave room for quiet reflection. Above them, gulls glide effortlessly upon the warm coastal winds. They circle once, twice, before settling upon the roof of a nearby warehouse. Their white feathers glow brilliantly beneath the afternoon sun. The harbor master walks slowly along the waterfront, carrying a wax tablet. He stops occasionally to greet familiar captains. A few notes are carefully written. A shipment recorded. A destination confirmed. The business of the empire unfolds calmly here, one conversation at a time. Beyond the busy pier lies a quieter stretch of shoreline. Fishing boats have been pulled gently onto smooth sand. Their hulls dry in the sunshine while their owners prepare for tomorrow's journey before evening arrives. One elderly sailor carefully oils a wooden oar. He runs a soft cloth along its surface until the grain begins to shine. A well-cared-for tool, he knows, rewards its owner for many years. Nearby, woven baskets overflow with freshly caught sardines, red mullet, and sea bream. Their silver scales sparkle like tiny mirrors whenever sunlight reaches them. A fishwife arranges them neatly upon damp cloth. There is no need to call loudly for customers. Regular visitors know exactly where to find her each afternoon. The sea provides generously. There is comfort in familiar routines. You pause at the very end of the pier. Looking back toward the city, Pompeii rises gently above the shoreline. Colorful houses, Elegant villas, temple roofs, the distant forum. Everything appears peaceful beneath the warm Italian sky. Behind it all, Mount Vesuvius watches silently over the landscape. Its slopes remain green. Its forests seem perfectly calm. From here, the mountain appears almost protective, standing quietly behind the city that has flourished beneath its shadow for generations. A merchant ship slowly raises its square sail. The canvas fills gently with wind. Without haste, the vessel glides away from the harbor, leaving only delicate ripples spreading across the calm water. No one watches it with concern. Ships leave every day. Ships return every day. Life follows its familiar rhythm. The afternoon sun begins its slow journey westward. Its light softens across the bay. The sea changes from brilliant blue to shimmering gold. Fishing boats cast long reflections upon the water. The breeze grows cooler. Somewhere inland, a temple bell echoes faintly across the rooftops. The harbor listens without answering. It simply continues breathing with the tide. You take one last quiet look across the Bay of Naples. The endless horizon, the gentle waves, the peaceful city resting behind you. Then, with slow and unhurried steps, you leave the waterfront behind, carrying the calm rhythm of the sea back into the quiet streets of Pompeii. The quiet rhythm of the harbor slowly fades behind you. The scent of salt water gives way once more to warm stone, flowering shrubs, and sunlit streets as you wander toward the highest part of Pompeii. The climb is gentle. Stone steps wind between elegant homes whose balconies overflow with vines and climbing roses. Occasionally, an open doorway offers a glimpse into peaceful courtyards where fountains murmur softly beneath the afternoon light. The city grows quieter here. Fewer merchants, fewer wagons, only the steady sound of sandals brushing against ancient paving stones. Ahead, a broad staircase rises toward one of Pompeii's hilltop temples. Its white limestone columns shine beneath the warm Mediterranean sun. Colorful banners move lazily in the breeze. Unlike the crowded festivals held throughout the year, today is wonderfully calm. Only a handful of visitors have come. An elderly couple slowly climbs the final steps together. A mother gently guides her young daughter toward the entrance. A merchant pauses briefly before beginning another day's work. Each arrives quietly. Each leaves quietly. The temple welcomes everyone with the same peaceful silence. You step beneath its great portico. Instantly, the heat of the afternoon softens. Tall columns cast long shadows across smooth marble flooring. The air feels pleasantly cool. Somewhere deeper inside, incense burns gently within a bronze vessel. Its fragrance is delicate. Hints of cedar, myrrh, and wild herbs gathered from nearby hills. The scent drifts slowly through the open hall before escaping into the afternoon breeze. A priest carefully arranges fresh olive branches beside a small stone altar. His movements are calm and deliberate. Nothing is rushed. Every gesture carries quiet meaning. Nearby, a young apprentice polishes a bronze oil lamp until it reflects the sunlight like still water. The Romans believed that beauty honored both the gods and the people who gathered in places such as this. Even the simplest object deserved careful attention. Beyond the main hall lies an open courtyard surrounded by graceful columns. At its center stands a shallow, reflecting basin. The surface remains perfectly still. Above it, the blue summer sky appears almost endless. A single white cloud drifts slowly across the reflection before disappearing beyond the edge of the water. You sit upon a cool marble bench beneath the shade of the colonnade. From here, much of Pompeii unfolds before you. The Forum, the colorful rooftops, the winding streets, gardens hidden behind elegant villas. Beyond them, the Bay of Naples glitters beneath the afternoon sun. Merchant ships appear no larger than drifting leaves upon the sea. And farther still, Mount Vesuvius rises peacefully above everything. Its broad green slopes seem almost protective. The forests covering its sides sway gently in the warm breeze. Tiny vineyards cling to the fertile earth. From this distance, nothing about the mountain suggests danger. It has become part of everyday life. Children draw pictures of it. Farmers thank it for rich harvests. Travelers admire its beauty. Sometimes the things we trust most seem the least likely to change. A gentle breeze passes through the temple courtyard. The hanging banners stir quietly. Olive leaves shimmer beneath the sunlight. Somewhere nearby, a dove lands upon the roof before cooing softly into the still afternoon air. Moments later, another answers from a neighboring column. Their quiet conversation echoes gently across the stone. A visitor places a small garland of flowers upon the altar. Not with great ceremony, only with quiet gratitude. Then he bows his head for a moment before continuing on his way. Life here is filled with countless ordinary acts of kindness and hope. Many will never be remembered by history. Yet perhaps they are the moments that mattered most to the people living them. As the afternoon slowly begins leaning toward evening, the light changes almost imperceptibly. Golden tones replace the bright white sunlight of midday. The marble columns glow with warmth. Long shadows stretch gracefully across the courtyard floor. The city below seems to breathe a little more slowly. You rise from the bench and take one final look across the peaceful valley. The temple behind you remains calm. The harbor continues its quiet work. The marketplace welcomes its last afternoon visitors. Smoke begins rising gently from household kitchens as evening meals are prepared. Everything feels wonderfully complete. With slow, unhurried footsteps, you descend the ancient stone staircase once more. Ahead, another quiet street winds between painted walls and flowering gardens. Another ordinary afternoon waits to be discovered. And somewhere beyond the rooftops, the peaceful heart of Pompeii continues beating, unaware that history will remember this city for its final day, while countless beautiful ordinary days like this one quietly slip through time. The temple slowly disappears behind you. Its marble columns fade into the distance as the streets of Pompeii gently give way to quiet country paths leading beyond the city walls. The afternoon sun has begun its slow descent toward the western horizon. Its warmth is softer now, golden, comforting. A narrow road winds through fields bordered by low stone walls. Wildflowers bloom between the cracks. Tiny butterflies drift lazily above patches of thyme and lavender. The countryside surrounding Pompeii feels every bit as peaceful as the city itself. Soon, the road begins to climb. Not steeply, only enough for the landscape to open before you. Below, the rooftops of Pompeii glow beneath the warm afternoon light. Beyond them, the Bay of Naples sparkles like polished glass. And above it all, Mount Vesuvius rises in complete silence. Its slopes are covered with vineyards that seem to stretch endlessly toward the sky. To the people working here, the mountain is not something to fear. It is something to thank. Its rich volcanic soil produces grapes unlike any other in Italy. Every harvest is generous. Every season brings another vintage. You follow a narrow trail between carefully tended rows of vines. Clusters of ripe grapes hang heavily beneath broad green leaves. Some are deep violet, others glow pale green in the sunlight. The air carries their faint sweetness, mixed with warm earth and the fragrance of wild herbs growing along the edge of the fields. An elderly vineyard keeper walks slowly between the rows, carrying a woven basket. Rather than collecting grapes, he studies the vines. Occasionally, he lifts a leaf toward the light. Sometimes he gently ties a young branch to its wooden support using soft strips of linen. His work is quiet, almost invisible, yet he understands that a healthy vineyard is built through thousands of small acts of care. Nearby, two young workers harvest only the ripest fruit. Each cluster is examined carefully before being placed inside broad wicker baskets. No grape is thrown. None are handled carelessly. The fruit has spent an entire season growing beneath the Mediterranean sun. It deserves patience. A gentle breeze moves across the hillside. The vines answer with a soft rustling sound. Somewhere farther down the slope, a shepherd whistles quietly to his flock. The sheep wander peacefully among patches of grass untouched by the vineyard. Even they seem to move at the same calm rhythm as everything else. Beyond the vines stands a small stone farmhouse shaded by ancient olive trees. Clay amphorae rest beneath a wooden shelter. Several have already been filled with freshly pressed wine from the previous harvest. A cooper sits nearby repairing the iron hoops of an aging oak barrel. He taps each ring gently into place with a small wooden mallet. The sound echoes softly across the hillside. Never loud, never hurried. Inside the farmhouse courtyard, fresh figs dry upon woven reed trays beneath the afternoon sun. Bundles of rosemary hang upside down beneath the roof. Their fragrance drifts gently through the warm air. A clay oven slowly cools after baking bread earlier that morning. The smell still lingers. Comforting, familiar. You continue climbing until the path reaches a natural overlook. From here, the entire valley unfolds before you. Pompeii rests peacefully among vineyards and orchards. Thin columns of smoke rise from household kitchens. Fishing boats appear as tiny white shapes crossing the calm waters of the bay. The city seems impossibly tranquil. Behind you, the upper slopes of Mount Vesuvius disappear into forests of chestnut and oak. Birdsong fills the trees. Sunlight filters through the leaves. Nothing about the mountain suggests the immense forces resting deep beneath its surface. Nature often wears its greatest strength with remarkable gentleness. You sit upon a smooth stone, warmed by the afternoon sun. The breeze carries the scent of grapes, olive leaves, dry grass, and distant seawater. A hawk circles high above the valley before gliding effortlessly toward the coastline. Its shadow crosses the vineyards for only a heartbeat before disappearing. The vineyard keeper reaches the end of another row. He pauses, looks toward the city below, then quietly smiles. It has been another good day, another peaceful harvest beneath the generous mountain. Tomorrow, he believes, will be much the same. The vines will need tending. The grapes will continue ripening. The sun will rise over the bay once again. It is a comforting thought, one shared by nearly everyone living in this beautiful corner of the Roman world. As the afternoon slowly drifts toward evening, the golden light grows softer still. The vineyards glow like rivers of emerald and amber stretching across the hillside. You take one last slow breath of the warm countryside air, then follow the winding path gently downhill once more. Returning toward the quiet streets of Pompeii, where another ordinary evening patiently waits to unfold. The vineyard path slowly descends toward the city once again. The warm scent of ripe grapes fades behind you, replaced by the familiar fragrance of sun-warmed stone and distant hearth fires. The afternoon is beginning to soften. Long shadows stretch across the roads leading back toward Pompeii. The city's busiest hours are nearly over. Merchants are counting the day's final coins. Children are being called home for supper. Bakers sweep the last traces of flour from their doorways. The entire city seems to breathe a little more slowly. Following a broad avenue lined with cypress trees, you soon arrive before one of Pompeii's greatest landmarks. Its massive curved walls rise gently from the earth. Built from local stone and Roman ingenuity, the amphitheater has stood proudly for generations. Earlier in the day, thousands of voices might have filled these seats. Today, it is wonderfully quiet. The great wooden gates stand open. You step inside. Rows upon rows of stone seating climb steadily toward the evening sky. From the highest benches, nearly the entire city can be seen beyond the arena walls. The silence feels almost surprising. Only the breeze moves freely through the empty structure. It slips between the arches before carrying the distant songs of swallows overhead. You walk slowly across the sandy arena floor. Fine grains of pale volcanic sand shift gently beneath your sandals. The surface bears no signs of competition today. Only the faint footprints of workers preparing the grounds for another gathering. A caretaker quietly sweeps the entrance corridor with a bundle of stiff reeds. His work echoes softly beneath the stone arches. Sweep. Pause. Sweep again. The rhythm is calm enough to become almost meditative. Nearby, another worker checks the wooden railings surrounding the arena. He runs his hand along the polished timber, making certain every joint remains secure. Nothing is left unattended. Even an empty amphitheater deserves care. You climb the stone steps toward the upper seating. Each row has been worn smooth by countless visitors over many decades. Families, travelers, merchants, soldiers, children seeing spectacles for the very first time. Every seat has quietly witnessed ordinary moments that history rarely records. Reaching the highest tier, you pause. The view is breathtaking. Beyond the rooftops of Pompeii, the Bay of Naples glitters beneath the lowering sun. The sea has become a sheet of liquid gold. Fishing boats leave long shimmering trails behind them. Far beyond the coastline, Mount Vesuvius stands peacefully against the evening sky. Its outline is gentle, almost graceful. The mountain seems wrapped in warm amber light. There is no smoke, no trembling earth, only silence. Below, two musicians have entered the arena. One carries a small wooden flute, the other a simple lyre. They are not performing for a crowd. They are practicing together before returning home. The first soft notes rise into the open air. The melody drifts upward through the empty amphitheater, touching every row of stone seats before dissolving into the evening breeze. Without thousands of voices filling the space, each note lingers beautifully. The music feels less like entertainment and more like a quiet farewell to another peaceful day. A pair of doves circles above the arena before settling upon the highest arch. The fading sunlight catches their white feathers, making them glow against the deepening blue sky. Somewhere outside the walls, a donkey cart rolls slowly along the road. Its wooden wheels create a gentle rhythm upon the paving stones. The sound arrives faintly, then fades once more. The caretaker finishes sweeping. He leans his broom against the wall and looks across the empty arena for a long moment. Perhaps he remembers great celebrations. Perhaps he simply enjoys the quiet after a busy day. Either way, he smiles. The first evening, lanterns begin appearing throughout the city below. Tiny points of warm light flicker to life one by one. From this height, they resemble stars arriving early upon the earth. The air cools pleasantly. The scent of rosemary, cedar smoke, and distant sea breeze rises together from the streets below. You remain seated upon the ancient stone for a little while longer, listening. The flute, the breeze, the distant harbor, birds returning to their nests beneath the rooftops. The city has entered its gentlest hour. Eventually, the musicians gather their instruments. The caretaker closes one of the great wooden gates. The amphitheater slowly settles into silence once again. As you descend the worn stone steps and return to the quiet streets of Pompeii, the evening sky glows softly above the peaceful city. Ahead, lanterns begin illuminating doorways and gardens. Families gather for their evening meals. And another ordinary night prepares to embrace a city that still believes tomorrow will arrive exactly as today has. The amphitheater slowly disappears behind you. Its quiet stone arches fade into the warm glow of the approaching evening as you follow a narrow street lined with painted homes and flowering courtyards. The city feels different now. Not quieter, simply gentler. The hurried work of the afternoon has ended. Shopkeepers lower their wooden shutters one by one. The final customers leave the market carrying baskets filled with bread, olives, herbs, and fresh fruit. Some pause along the way to greet neighbors. Others stop beside the public fountain to fill one last clay jar before returning home. The air grows cooler. A soft breeze drifts inland from the Bay of Naples, carrying with it the scent of salt water and distant fishing boats. But another fragrance slowly begins to take its place. Warm bread, roasted vegetables, fresh herbs, olive oil. Even before you see the homes, you know evening meals are being prepared. You wander through a peaceful residential district where every doorway seems to tell its own quiet story. Behind one entrance, a family gathers in an open courtyard. The center of the house is filled with the gentle sound of flowing water as a small fountain catches the last light of day. An elderly grandmother carefully tears fresh basil leaves into a clay bowl. Nearby, a young boy grinds black pepper using a smooth stone mortar. His movements are slow. Occasionally, he pauses to smell the herbs before smiling quietly to himself. Across the courtyard, a father slices warm bread into thick pieces while his daughter arranges ripe figs upon a wooden serving board. No one rushes. No one speaks loudly. Each person knows exactly what to do. The meal has been prepared together many times before. A bronze oil lamp is placed upon the table. Though the sun has not yet disappeared, its soft golden flame adds warmth to the gathering. The polished surface reflects gently inside nearby ceramic cups. The table itself is beautifully simple. Fresh bread, goat cheese, olives, roasted onions, lentils slowly cooked with herbs, a small dish of honey, a handful of grapes gathered from the nearby vineyards earlier that afternoon. Simple ingredients, prepared with care. The smell fills the entire courtyard. A small dog waits patiently beside one of the benches. It never begs. It simply watches with hopeful eyes. The youngest child quietly breaks off a tiny piece of bread before placing it gently upon the ground. The dog accepts the gift with a grateful wag of its tail. Kindness here often arrives without words. Above the courtyard, climbing vines stretch across wooden beams, creating a natural roof of green leaves. As the evening breeze moves through them, shifting patterns of light dance softly across the white plaster walls. The fountain continues its quiet song. Birds settle into nearby trees. Somewhere beyond the neighboring homes, another family begins laughing together over their own evening meal. The sounds drift gently through the warm air before fading once more into peaceful silence. You continue walking. Another home has left its front doors open to welcome the cool evening breeze. Inside, an elderly man carefully reads from a wax tablet while two children listen with quiet curiosity. Perhaps it is a poem. Perhaps a letter from a distant relative. Perhaps simply the day's accounts. Whatever the words may be, the atmosphere remains wonderfully calm. Farther along the street, a woman places fresh flowers into a small clay vase resting beneath a household shrine. She lights a tiny oil lamp beside it. The flame flickers once, then burns steadily. Outside, the sky slowly changes. Golden light becomes amber. Amber deepens into soft shades of violet and blue. The first evening star appears above the western hills. One by one, paper-thin clouds catch the final colors of sunset before fading into twilight. The streets of Pompeii grow quieter with every passing minute. Not because the city is falling asleep, but because life has gently moved indoors. The smell of cooking now drifts from nearly every home. Rosemary, garlic, fresh bread, wine warming beside glowing charcoal. Each fragrance mingles with the next until the entire neighborhood carries the comforting scent of supper. You pause beside a small stone bench beneath a flowering pomegranate tree. Its branches sway gently overhead. Several ripe fruits glow crimson in the fading light. A cool breeze brushes past. Somewhere nearby, a lyre begins playing softly. Its quiet melody floats above the rooftops like the final light of day. No audience applauds. No performance is announced. It is simply someone ending another ordinary evening with music. You close your eyes for a moment, listening. The fountain, the breeze, the distant sea, the quiet laughter of families gathered around their tables. These are the sounds that rarely survive in history. Yet they are the sounds that truly gave life to this remarkable city. When you open your eyes once more, the first lanterns have begun glowing along the streets. Warm circles of amber light stretch across the ancient paving stones. The night has arrived gently, and somewhere beyond the next quiet corner, another peaceful evening in Pompeii continues to unfold beneath the calm summer sky. The final colors of sunset slowly fade beyond the Bay of Naples. A deep shade of blue settles gently across the sky, while the last traces of golden light linger upon the upper walls of Pompeii. One by one, oil lamps begin to glow. A young servant walks carefully along the front of a merchant's home, lighting each bronze lamp with a small taper held inside a clay lantern. Each tiny flame grows steadily brighter. Soon the entire street is washed in warm amber light. The transformation is almost magical. During the day, the city belongs to sunlight. At night, it belongs to the lamps. You continue your quiet walk through the evening streets. The paving stones still hold a little warmth from the afternoon sun. Their smooth volcanic surface reflects tiny pools of golden light beneath every doorway. The shadows between the buildings are soft rather than dark. Everything feels calm, comfortable. Ahead, a wine merchant finishes arranging several clay amphorae beneath a wooden awning. Instead of inviting customers inside, he simply wipes the counter clean and closes the shutters halfway. Tomorrow morning, they will open again. There is no reason to hurry. Across the street, an elderly woman waters a row of flowering plants growing in painted clay pots outside her home. She pours only enough to dampen the soil. A few droplets fall onto the stone pavement, catching the lantern light like tiny pieces of glass before quietly disappearing. The scent of damp earth rises gently into the cool evening air. Farther along the road, two neighbors pause beneath a fig tree. Their conversation is quiet. Occasionally, one smiles. The other nods. Neither seems eager to end the conversation, yet neither speaks loudly enough to disturb the peaceful street around them. Nearby, a small cat slips silently through the shadows before curling comfortably upon a warm doorstep. Its eyes close almost immediately. The city has become wonderfully still. From somewhere behind a nearby wall comes the gentle sound of water flowing into a courtyard fountain. Its steady rhythm blends perfectly with the occasional chirp of evening insects beginning their nightly chorus. High above, the first stars appear over the silhouette of Mount Vesuvius. Only a handful at first. Then another, and another. Without the bright lights of a modern city, the heavens reveal themselves slowly and generously. Many of the same constellations you know today shine above Pompeii. Travelers use them. Sailors trust them. Children point toward them while listening to stories told by their grandparents. Time changes many things. The stars, much less. You pass beneath a graceful stone arch connecting two neighboring homes. Fresh laundry, left to dry during the afternoon, now sways gently in the evening breeze. Its soft movement creates quiet shadows that drift lazily across the walls. Inside one house, a family gathers around a small oil lamp. One child traces letters into a wax tablet while an older brother watches carefully. Learning happens slowly, patiently. Mistakes disappear beneath the smooth edge of the stylus before another careful attempt begins. No one grows frustrated. There is always tomorrow. The aroma of warm bread still lingers throughout the neighborhood. It now mingles with roasted garlic, herbs, and the faint sweetness of baked apples cooling inside a nearby kitchen. Simple meals, simple homes, simple evenings. Together, they create a life far richer than grand monuments alone could ever reveal. A breeze arrives from the sea. It travels through narrow streets before slipping between the marble columns of quiet courtyards. The air feels pleasantly cool against your face. Somewhere in the distance, a wooden gate closes gently. Moments later, another. The sounds are never abrupt. Only small reminders that the day is slowly drawing to its peaceful close. You arrive at a modest public square. A stone fountain stands quietly at its center. Its water continues flowing beneath the starlight exactly as it did beneath the morning sun. Two travelers refill their leather water flasks before continuing toward an inn on the far side of the square. A lantern hanging above the entrance sways gently. Its warm light spills across the threshold, welcoming anyone seeking rest before tomorrow's journey. You pause beside the fountain, looking upward once more. The night sky stretches peacefully over Pompeii. The city seems content. The people feel safe. Tomorrow is expected to be ordinary. Just another sunrise. Just another market day. Just another quiet evening waiting beyond it. With slow, unhurried footsteps, you leave the square behind and continue beneath the soft glow of the lamps, allowing the peaceful rhythm of the ancient city to carry you gently into the heart of the Roman night. The streets beneath the lamplight slowly become quieter. The conversations shared between neighbors grow softer until they disappear behind gently closing wooden doors. Pompeii settles into the peaceful rhythm of the night. Yet not everyone is asleep. Near the northern gate, where the city wall overlooks the countryside, a handful of watchmen quietly begin their evening rounds. Their task is not dramatic. There are no great battles waiting beyond the walls. No alarms echo through the streets. Most nights pass exactly like this one. Calm, predictable, peaceful. You follow the broad stone road leading toward the gate. The paving stones, warmed throughout the day, now release the last traces of stored sunlight into the cool evening air. An oil lamp burns steadily beside the entrance tower. Its flame barely moves despite the gentle breeze drifting down from the hills. A young guard leans upon his wooden spear while studying the countryside beyond the walls. His eyes wander across vineyards sleeping beneath the moonlight. Olive groves shimmer softly in silver light. The distant shoreline glows faintly beneath countless stars reflected upon the Bay of Naples. Everything appears exactly as it should. An older watchman joins him, carrying 2 small clay cups filled with warm herbal tea. Without speaking, he offers one to his companion. The younger man smiles gratefully. For several quiet minutes, neither says a word. They simply enjoy the silence together. Sometimes companionship requires no conversation at all. Far below the walls, a narrow country road disappears into the darkness. Earlier that morning, it welcomed merchants, travelers, shepherds, and farmers making their way toward the city. Now it rests quietly beneath the moon. Only a single wagon continues its slow journey. Its lantern sways gently beneath the wooden frame, creating a tiny circle of warm light that moves steadily along the road. The oxen pull without hurry. The driver hums softly to himself. There is still time to reach the nearby village before midnight. Inside the city, the final bakery has extinguished its oven. Only a faint ribbon of warmth escapes from the chimney. Tomorrow, before sunrise, the fire will be lit once again. The same hands will knead the dough. The same millstones will turn. The same fragrance of fresh bread will drift through these streets. At least, that is what everyone believes. A small owl glides silently over the city wall before disappearing into a nearby cypress tree. Moments later, another answers with a quiet call from somewhere deeper within the countryside. The sound lingers only briefly before the night welcomes silence once more. You climb the stone steps leading to the highest part of the gatehouse. From here, Pompeii stretches peacefully beneath the stars. Oil lamps glow like scattered constellations among the rooftops. Courtyard fountains continue their gentle songs. The occasional bark of a distant dog reminds you that life still moves quietly within the sleeping city. Far beyond the rooftops, Mount Vesuvius rises beneath the moon. Its broad slopes appear almost gentle in the silver light. The forests covering its sides sway quietly beneath the cool evening breeze. The vineyards rest peacefully upon rich volcanic soil. The mountain seems almost protective, like a silent guardian watching over the valley below. The older watchman notices the mountain for only a brief moment. He has looked toward it nearly every night of his life. It has always been there, always calm, always familiar. There is no reason to study it for long. His attention returns naturally to the road below. Routine has a comforting way of becoming invisible. A cool wind arrives from the sea. It travels across the rooftops before reaching the city wall. The lantern beside the gate flickers gently. Not enough to fade. only enough to remind you that every light, no matter how steady, dances with the smallest breath of air. Somewhere within the city, a temple bell sounds quietly. One deep note. Its voice rolls across the rooftops before fading into the open countryside. The watchmen bow their heads almost instinctively. Then the silence returns. You remain upon the wall a little longer, watching the stars, watching the moonlight resting upon quiet streets, watching a city that believes tomorrow will be beautifully ordinary. History remembers Pompeii because of a single terrible day. But standing here tonight, it becomes clear that the city was truly defined by thousands of peaceful nights just like this one. Nights filled with ordinary conversations, simple kindness, steady work, gentle routines, moments so familiar that no one imagined they would one day become priceless memories. Eventually, the watch changes. A fresh pair of guards climbs the stone staircase. Soft greetings are exchanged. The lantern is trimmed. The gate remains secure. The city sleeps on. With one final look across the moonlit valley, you quietly descend the ancient steps and continue your unhurried walk through the peaceful Roman night, where every silent street seems to hold another forgotten story waiting to be discovered. The night has grown wonderfully quiet. The last footsteps fade into the distance. Oil lamps glow softly behind wooden shutters. The fountains continue their gentle song beneath the stars. Pompeii rests peacefully. From the highest terrace overlooking the city, you pause one final time. Below you, narrow streets weave between elegant homes. The Forum lies silent beneath the moonlight. The bakeries have grown still. The harbor sleeps beside the calm waters of the Bay of Naples. Somewhere in the darkness, a fisherman quietly prepares tomorrow's nets. A potter leaves freshly shaped clay vessels to dry. An artist cleans the last traces of color from his brushes. A vineyard keeper rests after another successful day among the vines. Every ordinary life continues exactly as it always has. Nothing seems unusual. Nothing feels uncertain. The cool Mediterranean breeze carries the familiar fragrances you have come to recognize throughout your journey. Fresh bread lingering from the morning ovens. Olive trees growing beyond the city walls. Rosemary drying beneath wooden roofs. Sea salt drifting inland from the quiet harbor. Warm volcanic stone slowly releasing the day's final heat. These scents have become the heartbeat of Pompeii. You close your eyes for a moment, listening. A fountain, a distant owl, the soft rustle of vines moving in the evening wind. The quiet breathing of a city completely at peace. History often remembers places for the single day they were lost. Yet places are never truly defined by their endings. They are defined by the countless ordinary mornings that came before. The laughter of children racing through narrow streets. The patient hands of a baker shaping another loaf before sunrise. Neighbors greeting one another beside the public fountain. Families sharing figs, olives, and fresh bread beneath shaded courtyards. Artists filling quiet homes with color. Gardeners tending roses that bloomed without ever knowing they would become part of history. Those moments mattered, perhaps even more than the final day that the world would one day remember. You open your eyes once more. The stars shine brightly above Mount Vesuvius. The mountain stands in complete silence. Its forests appear calm beneath the moon. Its vineyards sleep peacefully upon the fertile slopes. To everyone living below, it has always been a generous neighbor. A mountain that nourishes vineyards, feeds orchards, shelters villages, No one looks upon it with fear. No one has reason to. Tomorrow, they believe, will begin like every other morning. The ovens will glow again. Merchants will reopen their shops. Fresh water will continue flowing through the fountains. Fishing boats will leave the harbor before sunrise. The forum will fill with familiar voices. Life will simply continue. And for this one quiet evening, it does. The moon climbs higher. Its silver light settles gently across tiled rooftops, marble columns, peaceful gardens, and sleeping streets. The city seems timeless, untouched, complete. You begin your final walk. The streets you explored throughout the day now feel familiar. You pass the silent bakery where warm bread welcomed the morning. The painted villa where an artist transformed bare walls into endless gardens. The bathhouse where steam drifted through marble halls. The quiet temple overlooking the bay. The vineyards stretching toward the mountain. The harbor breathing gently with the tide. Each place has offered the same quiet lesson. Life is built not only from extraordinary events, but from ordinary days lived with care. As you reach the city gate, you turn for one last look. Pompeii glows softly beneath the stars. Beautiful, peaceful, alive. The city does not know what tomorrow will bring. Neither do any of us. Perhaps that is why moments like these matter so deeply. The warmth of a shared meal. The fragrance of fresh bread. A conversation between neighbors. The sound of flowing water. The light of a single lamp shining through an open doorway. These quiet moments become the true treasures of every life. Slowly, you leave the sleeping city behind. The road ahead disappears into the moonlit countryside. Behind you, Pompeii remains wrapped in peaceful silence. Ahead of you, only the gentle rhythm of your footsteps beneath the stars. Thank you for spending this quiet day inside one of history's most remarkable cities. Not on the day it was lost, but on one of the many beautiful days it simply lived. May this peaceful journey remind you that history is more than dates and monuments. It is the warmth of a family meal, the patience of a craftsman, the kindness of a stranger, the comfort of familiar routines, and the quiet beauty hidden inside an ordinary day. As the night breeze drifts across the vineyards one final time, and the stars continue their endless journey above the Bay of Naples, allow your thoughts to become as calm as the sleeping sea. May your dreams be as peaceful as Pompeii was on this quiet summer evening. Good night. Sleep peacefully. And until our next journey through history, may you always find beauty in the ordinary.